Everything started, obviously, with my vision. And this is what every good entrepreneur needs to know, that you need to have a vision before you embark on any project or even your life. So I had a very big vision, very bold one. And my vision was that as a Gambian, I wanted to be one of the biggest real estate developers in Africa. So to do that, I couldn't do it in the Gambia, because Gambia has a population of 2 million people. So my target has always been Nigeria, because Nigeria today has a population of 200 million people. So as I targeted Nigeria, it happened that a friend of mine by the name of Alpha Barry was on a flight from Lagos to Johannesburg. And on the flight, he met another Nigerian. There were only two of them in business class, by the name of Chidi Izua. Chidi is late now, so we pray for his soul to rest in peace. So Chidi was working at the Infrastructure Regulatory Commission in Abuja. And he was very passionate about PPP and also housing. So they had a chat, and incidentally, they were heading to the same conference. I was in England. By then, I had an office there, and I was selling houses to diasporans, people in the diaspora, be it Gambian or non-Gambian, but selling them Gambian houses. So they called me up. Alpha called me that he met a Nigerian guy who was keen on attracting any investor that can engage in mass housing in Nigeria. So they called me and I confirmed. So I invited Chidi to come to Gambia to see what I was doing. This was in 2011. So in December 2011, he flew to Gambia and looked at what I was doing. He was so convinced, and he thought that the best place to introduce me was to the River State government. At the time, His Excellency Governor Rotimi Amici was the executive governor. So he made contacts and introduced me. Then the head of the Bureau of Public-Private Partnership was a lady by the name of Anita Las Nkovo. So a trip was organized for Anita and her staff, together with Chidi, to come to Gambia and make their own due diligence. So they traveled to Gambia, looked at what we were doing, and they were so convinced that they asked me when would I be able to come to Port Harcourt. This was when we were wrapping up the trip. It was on a Sunday. And on that day, I decided there and then that I will join them on that flight and head out to Port Harcourt. I joined Anita and Chidi on that flight, headed out to Port Harcourt. When I arrived, I met the governor, made a presentation, and his first question was, when are you ready to start? My response was, immediately. So anyway, we first started by trying to do some work at the Greater Port Harcourt. It was close to the airport. Negotiations stalled. So then the governor thought that probably they should hand over a parcel of land he had in Transamadi, which was reserved for a government house, that if, as a developer, we were not asking government to give us any money, but just to provide the land and other incentives, then the land should be handed over. There and then, we started our negotiations. Now, at this point, lessons to learn is that a lot of these things, they happen, where you least expect it. So for the young ones, never ignore that person that you meet anywhere. Because if Mr. Barry didn't talk to Mr. Izua Chidi, then most likely this wouldn't have happened. So my advice is that you should network as much as possible all the time. Anywhere you meet anybody, for example, if you are flying, you're sitting next to somebody, just say a simple hello, exchange cards, If you travel and you come into any foreign land, network as much as possible. So the lesson for today's video is that be a visionary, always think big, be bold, be ready to take risk, be persistent. Those are the few values that a good entrepreneur should have. And when you do that, have a very open mind. Never say never. You will always get distracted because anybody who's looking at you and advising you is trying to advise you based on their experience, and their experience might not be the best. Remember, every good entrepreneur needs to be innovative, and because you are innovative, not everybody will share your vision. So the takeaway today is please be a visionary, and when you are a visionary, think big. Thank you so much.